It's 2025. Well, we're halfway through 2025, actually. Almost halfway. And maybe you feel like you have fallen off your goals. You've kind of lost your way. You've lost your vision. Or maybe you just never had a plan for 2025 and you're a bit confused or need direction on where to go. Now, on this channel, I obviously make lots of videos about, new discoveries or people's theories, thoughts and theories. And it got me thinking, one, how many of you watch these types of videos, not just my videos, but maybe other people's videos for entertainment? Like, they could be educational videos, right? With great content within them. But for you, really and truly, it's an entertainment piece. It's a dopamine piece. It goes in one ear, comes out the other ear. It sounds pretty interesting, but it doesn't stick. Only a few people will watch these videos and then do their own research, which I like to call the nitty gritty research. That's the details, and actually go in and search things for themselves, right? But a lot of it becomes entertainment. And not only that, it's a question of how do you become one of these people who other people are talking about, if that makes sense. Maybe you live your life just talking about things that other people have done, discoveries other people have made, and you want to regain control of your life and maybe just become a person that is spoken about, right? So if that is you, I've got 6 points here to help you do that. So if you feel like that, sit tight and let's begin. So point 1 is vision. Now, my channel is about generational excellence, that being creating a society with more knowledge, opportunities, and wisdom than you had, right? So a vision is very important, right? You need a vision for yourself, but you want it to be a wholesome vision. So we're not just talking about what you want to do in terms of your career. We're talking about the characteristics, traits, and virtues that you want to carry and uphold, right? We want to talk about, again, what work you want to do in terms of what imprint you want to have on the universe and what results you want to see. And we also want you to think about how you want to impact society, what imprint you want to make. So the person that you need to have a vision for the person you want to become in terms of a physical, mental, and spiritual level, right? And as you start making this vision, you need to write it all down and come up with the steps that you're going to take to become this person, right? And the work that you're going to do to get these results. But it's important to remember, as Bruce Lee once said, be like water, right? Your vision may change slightly. The thing you want to do may change. Maybe as you go through life, certain characteristics and virtues which you had may evolve and become greater and change. And don't be afraid of that change. Embrace that change and actually use it to make you an all-rounded person, an even better person, because you're not going to have the vision that you have right now is going to have some flaws in it. It's not going to be the best version of yourself because you may not have gone through those necessary experiences to even know what the best version of yourself is and what it requires. But all you can do right now is go through it with the best intention and have the best intention for crafting your best self. And that is on a wholesome level, mental, physical, spiritual, right? Once you've done this, step 2 is to take back control of your life, okay? Now, be intentful with things you do. That means the content you consume. As I mentioned before, a lot of content you watch might be brain rot content, or it might go in one ear, come out the other. You need to be intentful with what you consume. If you're watching something for educational value, then sit there with a notebook and make notes. Try to actually retain as much information as you can. Otherwise, it's just going to be junk information, right? Healthy habits. Yeah, eliminate time wasters in your life. And in simple terms, a dopamine detox may be the best route for this, but where our thoughts and stuff are controlled by so much in society nowadays with, just mindless scrolling, news, media, everything that we consume is almost being force fed to us. So we need to be intentful and select what it is that we consume so that we can have a clear mind, and a clear mind will help with clear actions, and it will be solidified by the vision that you've already set for yourself, right? Number 3, be brutally honest with yourself, okay? Be brutally honest with yourself. Now, when I say brutally honest, you don't need to do this in a way that is negative, right? Like in terms of, you don't need to just hate on yourself and cuss yourself out and all that stuff, but be brutally honest with what you're doing, you know, your actions, and if they're aligning with your vision. For example, you might be telling yourself that you're gonna, let's say you're gonna play for a professional team, or do this, run this business, have this, you know, business going for you. But let's say you want to be the professional athlete, right? You're telling yourself this, but you haven't been to the gym for months. And then your thoughts are almost reaffirming or reinforcing your lazy behavior, if this makes sense. It's like your thoughts are now becoming coping mechanisms. Like you're telling yourself, yeah, look, I'm going to be this athlete, I'm going to do this and that, but you're not in the gym. So it's almost like you've got these contrasting thoughts and actions here. You're telling yourself you're going to be this athlete, but you're not going to the gym. And I know they say positive self-talk is good, right? In terms of, you need to tell yourself you are this, you are that. And this is proven to work, you know, reaffirming this stuff. But if you're doing all this talk without the action, you're almost reaffirming this coping mechanism behavior. And that's what we don't want to see. So be brutally honest with yourself. If you want to be an athlete, if you want to have your own business, then make sure you're taking the actions, and make sure that your self-talk is almost reaffirming you to take the actions. Or basically, your self-talk is saying to yourself, right, that if I do these actions, I'll become this. No problem. Do you get what I'm saying? Make sure that your actions and your thoughts are aligned, because when they're not aligned, this is going to create some imbalances. This is going to create confusion, and you're going to start, you know, self-talk in a way of a coping mechanism, which we don't want. The next point number 4, put yourself out there. Okay. If you've gone through points 1 to 3, you now have a good foundation. You have a good mindset, you know, you're disciplined because you've taken out all the time wasters. You need to put yourself out there now. How are people going to know about you if you don't give your gift to the world? And this is the point where you need to start implementing some of the stuff that you've planned, right? Some of the things that were written down in your vision. Okay. So you need to take action and start to make an imprint on the universe. Okay. And also, don't wait for the perfect environment to start this. You may have things going on in your life where you're feeling tired, or you feel like, oh, I don't have time to do this. But no, you have to put yourself out there, whether that's through making content and just talking about what it is you want to do in terms of, you know, documenting your progress, or sharing some tutorials or something with the world. You need to put yourself out there, share your thoughts, your theories in some way, shape or form. Okay. And put yourself out there. It doesn't even have to be just through content, you know, it could be through just networking, talking to the right people, but you have to put yourself out there and give your gift to the world. Otherwise, all the, you know, steps 1 to 3 are just going to be kept within yourself and never let out to the world. And you don't want that, especially if you want generational excellence and you want to become a person that people talk about, right? You want to create a positive impact on society. And this leads me to point number 5. Okay. Reaffirm your vision regularly. Okay. Do this on a regular basis. Tap in with yourself on a regular basis, because listen, if you're halfway through the year and you feel like you've fallen off, or you've lost your way, or you're not on track, it's probably because you forgot about your vision, right? You've fallen off because you forgot about your vision. So go back to that vision document that you made, right, in step 1, and reaffirm it. Look at it, read it, see what it is that you want to do, and check if you're on track. So for me personally, I like to look at my vision once a month, okay? And each week I set tasks that will push me closer to that vision. So at the end of each week, I do like a weekly review on the tasks and whether or not I've got them done, and if I'm, moving in the right direction towards my vision. And you guys should do this with whatever it is, you want to achieve. So checking that vision, whether it's once a month, whether you want to do it once a week, whatever works for you. I would definitely say no less than once a month. Otherwise, you're bound to kind of get yourself into that routine of forgetting and falling off, right? But definitely once a month, track your vision, and each week, make sure you're just on task. And this is just going to keep reminding yourself, look, this is who I said I want to become. You're almost going to feel a bit guilty when you reflect on your vision and you realize you haven't been, taking those actions. So it's just going to keep you accountable and keep you on track. Track your progress, right? And make adjustments. And the thing is, this is like a whole journey in itself. The idea of tracking your progress is a journey in itself. And when you do this over time, what is going to happen is you are going to become better at setting tasks and goals for yourself and tracking your own progress. You're going to know how you work, how much work you can get done, and the steps that you need to take, or the methods that you need to implement to then achieve certain tasks, right? So step 5, as much as it's about tracking and making sure, holding yourself accountable, should I say, it's also about tapping into yourself and learning how your mind works, how you work, and how you like to do things, And that leads me to the final point number 6, or a bonus point, if you want to call it. But that is strive towards generational excellence. I truly believe that generational excellence is the most wholesome form of self-improvement. And the reason I believe this is because you then have to start to be selfless and look beyond yourself. You have to look towards future generations and see what they would need to get through life smoother and have more opportunities, knowledge and wisdom than you did, right? And then you can start to create systems that will help the future generation. Now, I get this is like something that maybe not a lot of people think about because of society, how society is right now, and you may be so caught up on your problems and getting yourself to a certain level, or you and your family's self to a certain level, that it's hard to think about the greater good of society, right? But I'm telling you, this is why when you see like certain people who have generational wealth, this is why generational wealth is not the same as generational excellence, because you can have generational wealth but not be creating generational excellence. And this is why when you see certain people with generational wealth, they may get to that point and then start to fall back into bad habits because they have nothing to occupy their minds with, or they start, buying loads of exotic cars and houses because they don't have any bigger projects to then reinvest and engross themselves in. And I'm telling you, generational excellence is the way out of this trap, because now that you've got yourself to a certain level, you can start to look at projects that you can do to build society and make society better, whether that's teaching your gift to the world or creating, opportunities, investing your wealth that you've created into opportunities for other people to truly create a better world. And let's just say get the global consciousness up. Why not help assist with that? I get it may not even be for everyone. Generational excellence may not be for everyone, but I truly believe if you're on this channel, then and you support this message, then you will be looking towards generational excellence and the greater good of mankind. I want us to be able to create a society that can outlive, the asteroids that may come to hit Earth one day, or the sun dying out one day. I would like to create a society, or should I say, I would like to help assist create a society that can outlive these things. And, like I said, when the sun dies out, maybe we are in a different solar system by then. We are, just progressing as a human race for the sake of progressing as a human race. That's the work to do. Why not learn, discover as much as we can about this world, while we have the chance. And with that being said, guys, that is how to level up on a wholesome level, mental, physical, and spiritual level. But bear in mind, this is actually really the foundation. This is only, I would say, level one, maybe level 2 we're pushing, but it goes a lot deeper than this. And there are a lot more things to discover about yourself, especially on the spiritual level. But that's the thing. If you don't have this stuff down, the level 1 stuff down, then you'll be ungrounded moving deeper into this self-improvement and this wholesome mental, physical, and especially the spiritual side of self-improvement. And that is stuff we will discuss another day. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought and if this aligns with your idea of self-improvement, and I will see you in the next one.